So 2020, um, I don't think people really truly like grasp how how much that year changed everything. How much how much we've been paying for it, it seems, the past 4 years. And when I say paying for it, I just mean how our reality was shifted, how we talk to each other, how we deal with each other, how we think, not feeling like we can speak, and it's created so many different problems, right? Like you could look at the economy, it's so many different things, so I jotted down some thoughts on it, because I did a video, just my raw emotions, but I kind of want to delve into why, like why do I feel like that? Why do we feel like that? Why are there so many people, you know what I'm saying, that feel like this? And the first thing I think it starts with is the loneliness. You know, what I wrote was it left people with the feeling of no one understands, and it seems to get worse because we feel like we can't open up about how we truly feel. During 2020, bro, you couldn't really open your mouth about disagreeing with getting things in your body, getting certain things in your body. Like you can't even say the word now. Like I cannot say the word on YouTube, or else I might get. It's like I don't know what will happen, but I can't. Like just think about that. Like I cannot say a word, but we have freedom of speech though. You know what I'm saying? And just thinking about that, not being able to just talk about what's going on in society and disagreeing with something, or disagreeing with, say, how we went about dealing with a situation, it seeped into everything else. People feel like they can't talk to their family. People feel like they can't talk to their friends, their coworkers, etc. Like people feel like they cannot open up. And it wasn't like that before. I could talk to a random Joe off the street about something and disagree. Cancel culture really became a big thing, and celebrities coming out only in support of certain things. And I'm not, I truly believe everyone should have their own opinion. Like I do. Like I think the beauty in life is we're all different and we all think differently. So why do we live in a culture where everyone seems to think the same? Because no one wants to go against the grain, because we literally can't. You'll lose your job, you'll lose friends, you'll lose a significant bro, like you'll lose everything. And people feel like, oh well, I guess that's not worth it, so I guess I'll just be quiet and not say anything. And as a result, so many people feel alone. So many. Bro, like you'll sit in your room at night and have all these things going through your mind, and you won't feel like you have one person to turn to and talk to. It's crazy. Which brings me to the disconnect. The disconnect we have in society nowadays, where we feel so disconnected to other humans. Like we're all the same, bro. Like we all bleed the same. We all get angry, we all get sad, we all get frustrated, we all get impatient, we all get anxious. We're all the same. We're dealing with the same things, and I'll get comments, I'll get thousands of comments of, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one who felt like this. Man, like, I'm glad someone's speaking up, someone's making a video about it, because I truly thought I was the only one. And it's like, bro, like I guarantee you your neighbor across the street from you feels the same way. They just can't say anything, or they feel like they can't. Like we're so disconnected as a people, and we became disconnected when we were locked inside our houses, when we were only with our family, you know what I'm saying? When we were like, that's when we became disconnected, because it wasn't like that before. You could strike up a conversation with a coworker or anyone, you know, and be able to relate to each other and be able to feel like you're not the only one. But the disconnect that it created being in those, just being locked away from everyone for an extended period of time. We've been feeling the repercussions of that over the past 4 years. And this has left us with the question of what even truly matters. Within a day, everything that was important wasn't anymore. You think about it, it was important to go to school. It was important to go to work every day. It was important to socialize. It was important. Graduations were important. Proms were important. Everything that they've been telling us all these years has always been so important. And within a day, right, it happened so quick, bro. Within a week, we were all in the house. We all of a sudden, society could kind of still run, if we didn't go into work every day. Society, we still all found a way to eat. We still all found a way to live, and I think a lot of people have been struggling with, like, why am I even doing this? If this can all be taken away from me within a day, within a week, within a month, why am I working towards this? You know what I'm saying? Where it's a question a lot of people have been dealing with and struggling with. Look at how many people have a hard time working their 9 to 5s. Look at how many people don't want to work 9 to 5s anymore. Look at how many people have quit their jobs. Look at how many people, like, it just, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just what am I, Gen Z? It's not just my generation. It's everyone. It's people who are 30, 40, 50s, some 60s. Like, we're all kind of wondering, like, well, what truly matters? What can't you take away from me? Because if I work my hardest for something, should that be something that should be able to be taken away from me? You know what I'm saying? It was this one comment, and the guy said, bro, 2020 showed us that even doctors will turn us away and not help us. Think about that. Like, 2020 showed us even healthcare will turn us away if they're told to. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy when you think about it, but that's what was happening. And another point I thought of was people saw how much time they really spent working, where I think a reason a lot of people are struggling now is one of the worst things they could have showed us. One of the worst things that they could have showed us is how much time we have to enjoy our life when we're not working so much. Like, people had time to spend time with their families, to get to know each other more, to build those relationships up. People had time to spend with their kids that they weren't used to spending. It was so bad. Parents, I feel like a lot of parents were like, this is too much time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm used to only having 4 hours, then they're in bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not used to having to entertain them all day. I'm not used to having to have such an intimate relationship with my child, where, think about it, man. Like, when you work 5 days a week, you have a good 4 or 5 hours once you get home to spend with your children, to spend with your spouse. Then we have the weekends. Where in 2020, bro, that wasn't the case. You had every day was Saturday. Every day was Saturday and Sunday. And I think even 4 years later, people are still having a hard time adjusting to, just the reality that, life is a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of work until you retire. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the economy shift. I read a statistic that since 2019, the housing has went up 54%. People can't even, like, it's not realistic to even think about buying a house, to even think about certain things. This economy has gotten so bad. And I think my belief is 2020 had such a huge shift on that. And I'm not going to get into politics and things like that, but I just want to focus on two things: the PUAs and the stimulus checks, right? Whenever you're given, I was in college at this point in time, whenever you're giving college students $800 a week, the most money most of us had ever gotten, and I wasn't even getting it, right? Whenever you're giving kids money like that, there's going to be future repercussions for that. And 4 years later, we're starting to see it. I'm not going to say that the PUAs and the stimuluses are the main factor for that. Absolutely not. You know, we have people in office who have something to do with that. But we were always going to face the consequences of that, you know, where you had a whole generation of people who I truly believe, like, a lot of us were getting money like that. And it was like, wait a second, like, work a 9 to 5. Wait a second, work minimum wage. Wait a second, like, I was just getting $1,600 every 2 weeks. How could I go back to working? And there are people that 4 years later still are of that mindset, still to this day. I remember I was a delivery driver, bro, and I was like making $40 a day, bro. I was grinding too, and I was in school, and I would go around my friends who weren't in school and didn't have jobs, and they would be going out every day and getting food, buying new shoes, buying new clothes, and I was like, wait a second, how do y'all have money? Because I was so broke and I was just struggling, man. And they were like, oh, bro, like PUA. I was like, bro, what? And he was like, yeah, bro, like 700 a week, you know. And you think about that, bro, like, that affected so many people's conscience of like working and work ethic, and also the economy, bro, where you had people getting cars. Like, look at, like, think about the skyrocket in buying a car, bro. I got a car 2 years ago, maybe three, and it was $4,500. It was a Honda Civic. That same Honda Civic is like, is twice as much, if not more, you know. And I truly think the economy shifted with those things, and with like, and also people's drive and work ethic shifted as well with that. But you know, these are all things people don't really talk about, aren't willing to talk about, don't want to have the conversation with. The last thing I want to say is this: the reason why 2020 was so different from any other year is, let's take 2001 for example. I get a lot of people who say 2001 that the world shifted, and I was only 3, so I can't really speak on that. But what I want to say is this: I think the difference between 2020 and any other year is, since that happened, we've been growing apart from each other. Where, say, like 2001, I feel like we came together as a people. Obviously, we had division with people of the religion that committed, you know, those acts, you know, with the towers and stuff like that, where there might have been division there. But like, as a country, like as a world, like we came together, like we helped each other through it. We talked about it. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it. We talked about where we were. I'm talking about people who were old enough, you know, that, like, you talked about where you were, your experience, what your thoughts were when it happened. Have any of us talked about 2020? Do we talk about it? Like, do any of us talk about it? It's like it happened and it just happened. Like, and it's hard to move on when you don't have closure, and it's hard to move on when we're all dealing with the same thing, but we can't even bring it up, you know. But let me know what y'all think. comment down below, share the video, like, comment, subscribe, alter ego, Sean, I'm out.